I was just wondering the amount of Shakti someone has flowing through their system. Because I read some people hardly have any Kundalini stuff going on. It's very subtle, more dispersed, and some people have a lot. Um, it doesn't need to mean anything, but I'm just curious, what are your thoughts on what that means in differences between people? Like what in relating in their place in the world? Like why is that? And why is there such a difference in that? Just curious.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it comes down to many different factors. I doubt we'll ever really pin down the exact details of it, but I can just comment on what's coming to me in general. Um, we all have different energetic dispositions. If you're familiar with, say, Ayurveda, there's different constitutions. We all have a different vibe, a different energetic quality. Some are meant to be grounded, stable, present, feet on the ground. They don't really have any sort of head in the sky type expanded states. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? We need those people. They serve a very important role here. And there are others that, are much more out there. Much more, you could say, spacey and open and fluid, and they can probably have more of a visceral feeling of the Shakti flowing through them. That's just like the inherent makeup that we all have. Then, of course, on top of that, there's cultural conditioning, the way we were grown up, whether our nervous system is able to relax into states that allow the energy to flow through it seamlessly. Some people, their nervous system is stuck in a sort of trauma response because of what they went through. And so they're actually not able to allow that energy to flow through the nervous system in such a way. I like to equate the flow of Shakti, the depth of meditation, and relaxation. In general, I like to see them all as the same thing. All is the same thing. So it's very easy to now, if we look at the idea of relaxation, it's very easy to see it because somebody who's traumatized can't relax, right? They're on edge, as they should be, because in their being, there's the potential that there may be a threat. So to relax means that you feel safe. And when you feel safe, you relax, the nervous system chills out, you can close your eyes and go into meditation. So rather than looking outward for some threat on the external world, you're safe. So you can close your eyes and go inwards, right? It's very vulnerable state to go into meditation, right? So you need a degree of safety. And it's in those states that then the Shakti begins to flow. So some people, they're just, they've got a lot of conditioning that is impeding them from being able to relax. And that's why over time, as we walk the path, we begin to practice more intensely. We meditate more. We do our healing work, our shadow work, our therapy, whatever it is. Then suddenly we feel like we can have more Shakti flowing through our system. We feel more relaxed. We feel like we can go deeper in meditation. Why? Because we feel safe. We feel safe. We've healed the parts of us that were, feeling unsafe. So that's why some people in the beginning of their journey, they may not feel much Shakti, but then later on, they're just overflowing with it. They're overflowing with it. So just some ideas coming to me. And of course, we all bring different things to the table. Some people are meant solely, like their purpose, their Dharma is to radiate. They're not even meant to talk to people or say anything. They're just there as like a radiator. They're just meant to just flow Shakti. Whereas other people, their work is to, of course, like, build homes for the people who are radiators so that they can just sit around in those houses and radiate, right? So somebody needs to do both, right? So the guy who builds the house probably can't radiate, and the guy who radiates can't build a house, if you get what I mean. So we all have different purposes, different Dharma, right? So I hope that can give you something to think
Yeah.
about there.
It's just a follow-up question, if I may.
Mm.
Um, so I'm quite sensitive energetically, and why I ask this also from personal experience, I can not right now, my energy's not open at all right now, but when it's open, I can sense the energy of the teacher coming over to me.
Mm.
Now, what I'm more and more careful about is the amount of energy I feel from the person across me. I'm more and more careful to say that that has any relation to the depth of their realization. So that's the question I'm getting at. So let's take two people who are both very deeply realized, will they have the same amount of Shakti, or not? You're saying it's not the case? And that it just fascinates me, I guess. Like, if I don't sense anything with a certain teacher or whatnot, maybe there's still a lot to learn, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Perhaps.
Or is that a sign that
One,
might not be as realized as they claim to be?
it could be, but what's important to recognize as well is that the greatest teachers, most self-realized beings are not for everyone. They're only for a certain amount of people. And so that's why some may say I love Ramana, and some may say I never really was drawn to Ramana. You know, I'm more into Christ. I would say they're both, can't say a bad thing about either of them. But some, for whatever reason, the vibration, the language, the models, the cultural, uh, the structures around these various teachers, that's what appeals to them as well. So they don't pick up equal amounts of like resonance from just anybody. That's a thing. I mean, I've recommended some great teachers to people, and they say, "Hey, yeah, like I just don't vibe with that person. They're too. They're sometimes they say they're too like airy. I want something more grounded and direct." The journey also changes over time, right? Over time, in the beginning, you may be thirsty for knowledge, so you go to a teacher who is very eloquent, structured, can break things down to satisfy the mind. And later on, you want nothing to do with knowledge. You just want somebody who's in a devotional state. And so then maybe you begin to just look at pictures or just listen to mantras or read poetry, like read Rumi, right? And that does it for you. So I think it all depends on where we're at on the journey as well. But that doesn't dismiss like what you're saying, this idea of discernment, right? If somebody doesn't excite you, doesn't feel right for you, probably best to just move on. You don't have to say anything bad about them. You just say, not for me, not right now, maybe later, who knows? And then just keep going on your journey. That's the beauty of our culture now, right? There's millions of teachers that we can explore. We can find those that
Yeah,
serve us, and they don't have to serve us for the entirety of our journey. At a certain point, you could say our relationship comes to an end. Yeah.
thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for the great questions. Yeah, Teresa's sharing here. Stepping stones. Excellent. Aaliyah's sharing, I think I'm a radiator. Message from Shakti is be the light, be the love, be with people. I don't like hiding in my Zoom box. Yeah, I could see you being a radiator for sure. Shiv says, they say some people can be very high Shakti, but not realize. Some can be crooks. This was the most confusing thing for me in the world. Yes, that's another thing to be somewhat aware of. Some people, if they are ungrounded in their nervous system, and this has happened to me, if it's very fresh awakening, um, they can become incredibly infectious energetically. And the energy is spilling over and it's attracting people. And people can say, wow, this person is so incredible. Whenever I go around them, I feel so amazing. And that's good. But the reason that it's spilling over, it's because their own body can't hold it. That's why. So it doesn't mean that they're actually very ahead on the path. It could actually mean that they just had a major awakening and it's very, very fresh for them. I've seen this, before. Like I said, it happened to me, where the nervous system just can't hold it, so it starts to spill over. Yeah.